Welcome to the Heal, Thrive, Dream podcast, where trauma survivors become healthy thrivers. Each month, we'll feature a theme in the trauma recovery and empowerment field. To promote your recovery, healing, and learning how to build dreams, here's your host, Karen Robinson, transformational coach and therapist.
Hi, and welcome to the Heal, Thrive, Dream podcast. My guest today is Lizbeth De Sa. Hope I said that right, Lizbeth. I tell you, me and names. She's a certified internal family systems practitioner, an educator, a conflict mediator, and a laughter yoga leader. She wants people to know about their own multiple minds and how to apply IFS therapy to life so they can experience healing and live lives of joy, creativity, and fulfillment. Thank you, Lizbeth, for being a guest today.
Hi, Karen. Thank you so much for having me.
And say your last name one more time just so people can hear it again.
Sure. De Sa.
De Sa. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you. And Elizabeth, where are you originally from? Because I think I remember in your longer bio, you've lived in a few areas.
Yeah, so I was born and grew up in England, though my parents are from Goa in India. And then I have lived in Japan, Australia, New Zealand, California, and now South Carolina.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. I love travel too.
Yeah, and it's great to
Yeah.
live somewhere and just challenge yourself and find out so much more about the culture.
I appreciate you being a guest on my show because of a couple things. One is a lot of my guests, I'll say it this way. Some of my guests are survivors, some of my guests are healers, and many of us are both, and you're one that's both. With trauma, my audience is complex trauma survivors. Is there a piece of your trauma that you're comfortable with sharing with us today?
Sure. I grew up experiencing a lot of racism in the 70s and 80s in London. And that definitely shaped my worldview, who I thought I was in the world, my ability to put myself out there. It affected me in all sorts of ways. There was a lot of overt verbal and physical abuse on the streets. But then things got better and I started to heal it. But then, let's see, there were a few other instances. I think as women, unfortunately, we've all experienced some sexual harassment, sexual assault. But something that was really formative in leading me to the current work I do now was that about 5 years ago, I went through a really acrimonious divorce and custody case. I was accused of some terrible things that weren't true, and I ended up losing my children. And it nearly broke me. I had to deal with being accused of things and just learning that my self-worth is so much more than what people think of me. Losing my children was a horrendous experience. And I vowed from that I wasn't going to get bitter and resentful. So that really led me to internal family systems, though I had been doing a lot of spiritual seeking, meditation, all sorts of other things. And it was a very natural segue into internal family systems.
Yeah, as a mom, it's so hard to even fathom what you've been through. I have a couple of friends who are estranged from their children, parental alienation, and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's so devastating. Can you share a little bit how you were able to find the courage, energy, mojo to even try to work on your healing? How did you do that? It's incredibly powerful.
I think it was for the sake of my children. We're together now again. We have an amazing relationship. It's made us a lot stronger. And I just said to myself, they need a mother. They need a healthy mother. And I really have to make sure that I grow through this. It was in a way like a retreat of a few years. COVID was happening at the same time. So I isolated myself, and we were all self-isolated too. And it was just a great opportunity to go inwards and really painful. But on the other hand, it was just a chance to heal. I started reading a lot about IFS. It really resonated. And then I started seeing my own therapist, and then I said, I have to get trained in this, partly because I wanted to get so good at it, I could do it on myself. But also because, and then when I did training, I was like, oh my God, I have to share this with people too. So yeah. And now my children, they know that it's the language that I speak. And sometimes they'll try and use it with me. We'll use it on each other in conflicts. How to bring more of that self energy of compassion and curiosity to what's going on in us instead of being reactionary. So yeah, it's a way of life now.
And other than the IFS therapy, what other tools are in your toolbox for your healing journey? Like meditation, breathing, anything else that you've tried or enjoy?
Yeah, so I have been meditating for about 20 years now, and I'd always tried to do it as a child and never really, like as a teenager, and never really understood how to do it. So when I did my first meditation retreat at 20 years ago at the age of 30, it blew my mind. It was simple, not easy, but simple. And then I just realized that what I had been doing all along, it was just in alignment with who I was. Like I was very much of a loner as a child. I spent a lot of time just looking inwards. I was really interested in my inner world. And meditation really seemed to just, it gave me a framework to do that, to understand, oh, I'm noticing this and this. And then IFS later fed into that too with these parts. And I realized that we're made up of so many parts, and I could see and get flashbacks of memories of what happened when that influenced the way I was showing up in the world. So I also did nonviolent communication for a while. I was training in that. And that also led really well into IFS, because these feelings that we have, they're not right or wrong. They just are. They have no moral value. And I think often feelings can be vilified if we're uncomfortable with them. So I really learned so much about feelings and how they're indicators that something's going on and needs attention. And these needs, they're really important in just what we all need to live and thrive. So it was great having these things that I'd been seeking and exploring all my life really just come together.
Beautiful. Do you have a favorite part or yeah, a favorite part from IFS?
Let's see. I do tend to like my judgmental and annoyed parts, because I have
I don't hear
rejected
that often.
I rejected them for a long time.
I
And
see.
so Dr. Richard Schwartz, he's the developer of this model. He wrote a book called No Bad Parts. And that
Mhm.
explains it perfectly. There are no bad parts. They've all got a good intention for us. And sometimes we may blend with them and then react in ways that aren't helpful. But who they are and the message they're giving us and their role in our lives is often really positive. They want to protect us. So I've
Yeah.
learned to listen to my judgmental parts and say, something's going on here. Something doesn't feel right. And it may be the external situation. It may be that I need to be careful and protect myself. It also may be that there's something inside that is being activated by the external situation. And that's an indicator that I need to heal. And when I learned to embrace them, welcome them, just have this kind of sweet, curious relationship with them, they lose that sting. They're not scary anymore. And it's who I am. And I don't mean to say I'm judgmental and I judge people and
No, but we all have that piece. Yeah.
yeah. But I do take, for example, the part of me that gets easily annoyed. When I learned what this part wanted, I realized it had really high standards for me. It wanted me to be around people who can meet me, who I can really have great conversations with. And it was telling me, hey, this isn't very stimulating right now. Get out of the situation or go find people who are more similar to you. So they have great messages.
Yeah, beautiful. Have you thought about writing a book about IFS and how it's impacted or been healing for you?
I would love to write a book. Right now, I'm focusing on writing blog articles. So I write
Nice.
lots of shorts, lots of essays that are really focused on how to bring this model into our everyday lives. So I apply it to dating or not dating. What else? How my gray hairs insulate me from unwanted male attention, which feels really good. I write about meditation, all sorts of things, really. I'm also going to be hoping to produce some video courses, again, about applying this way of being in everyday life.
Oh, beautiful. And tell me more about the work that you do or you in your laughter yoga. Do you work one-on-one with people? Do you do group work? Do you teach? Tell us more about that.
Sure. So I mostly do IFS one-on-one. Sometimes I see couples also, but I discovered that I'm really best skilled at helping individuals deal with their trauma. And I have to say that before I went through my custody case, I had experienced trauma and suffering and all of that, but it tended to be somewhat, my response to it, although I had done a lot of healing, was comparatively theoretical compared to what it is now. How the custody case tore me apart and how I put myself back together was such a learning experience. And it was fundamental. It ripped me to my core. And
Right.
I learned the meaning of compassion. So after that, it was no longer theoretical. I learned what true suffering is, and I can have hope now for myself and for my clients. I'm glad to have gone through that in some ways because it allows me to be a better facilitator of other people's healing. And what I discovered was is so powerful in helping people who have not had a happy childhood live as though they did. So we go back to the parts of them that suffered the trauma, that still carry it, and that have often been locked away. And with permission, we go to those places. And we're really careful not to re-traumatize, because this isn't about reliving the experience or narrating it. It's about accessing it with compassion and then helping parts to release it. So I've had clients say amazing things like, wow, this is what it feels like to have had a happy childhood. And it's just when these are people who have experienced child sexual abuse, neglect, just really terrible things. And then to get healing and hope that life can be different, it's just one of the most amazing things to help people get to. Yeah.
In our remaining time, I would love to hear a little bit about the laughter yoga that you do.
Sure.
Yeah.
I discovered laughter yoga about 20 years ago, though I only really got into it in the last few years. And it sounded horribly awkward to me. The way I saw it was you walk into a group and you all start laughing. And then part of me was a bit challenged by that because I like to put myself in awkward and challenging situations where I might might bring something good out of myself. So I decided to just go along and embrace it and see what it was like. And it was not that awkward, really, at all. It's based on yoga exercises, yogic breathing, that we turn into an exhalation and then laughter. I decided to get trained in it because I really wanted to understand it better and know a lot more of the exercises that were done. And also because one of the characteristics of this self energy, this essence of who we are at core, that's essential in IFS, is playfulness. And I thought sometimes therapy can be so dismal and depressing. And I didn't want it to be like that. I wanted it to be like more full of joy and creativity and really tapping into that laughter, not necessarily the laughter during sessions, but that place within us that is so full of joy. So I've noticed that when I laugh, talking about deep belly, unconditional laughter for no good reason, my days are better. I love it. It's such a gift to the world to just be able to laugh for no good reason.
Oh, I love that too. Yeah, I tell a lot of my clients that yes, trauma happened, but if we can find those moments to release through laughter, or
Yeah.
even look at our traumas and traumas that are older, not necessarily the things that happened yesterday. Traumas that are older, is there pieces of it you can make fun of? When I tell the story, my father was chasing me one time, was taking off his belt, and his pants fell down. Was it great my father was trying to chase me and wanted to beat me? No. But is it funny that his pants fell down? Yes. And
Right.
so taking those pieces and just finding some joy where we can. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think in IFS, if we went back to a memory like that, what we would do is to say, have the self energy, be with the part who experienced that, and then be with them, turn around and look at that and laugh, and then advocate for the child and give them that support, the laughter, the advocacy, all of that together. And it diminishes the perpetrator. It lessens their power, which is really important.
Yeah. And I think that's such a lesson too, when we're young and abuse or trauma is happening, we feel so powerless. But then when we grow up and really learn to understand the perpetrators, they're the ones that are really powerless.
Yeah.
All right. Is there any words of wisdom that you want to leave our audience with today before we wrap up?
Yeah, I would love to invite listeners to go inside and just listen to their parts. So one of the visualizations that I often do, and I invite my clients to do, is just go inside and imagine that there's a big circle, like a campfire, and just invite parts to come take a seat. Say, who's present inside right now? And have them come take a seat, look around at them all, and then for you to really breathe your self energy bigger. And by that, I mean who you are at core, amplify those characteristics of compassion, curiosity, courage, and then send that to all of your parts so that they can feel that and then strengthen that relationship between self and parts.
So beautiful. Thank you so much, Lizbeth, for being a guest today.
Yeah, thank you too. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you for listening in today. Please join us next week, same day and time. Also, I would love for you to check out my website, healthrivedream.com.